Hello everyone, RoahmMythril here once again, and it's time for Roahm FAQs. Since I've started making videos, I've gotten a lot of questions. A lot of these are asked fairly frequently, so I'm going to try to cover most of the common ones here in this video. Hopefully that can cut down a little on the repeated questions. So let's get right to it. Question 1. What programs do you use in your recordings? This is the big one, so let's cover this one first. There are a lot of programs that go into my recordings, and given I don't really have any sort of a budget to work with, I generally have to go with freeware. However, I'm still pleased with my results, so free doesn't necessarily have to mean bad. First, there are the programs I use for recording. My recorder of choice is Cam Studio. It's a free program that can be found at www.camstudio.org. It does take some experimentation to figure out what works best for you as far as the settings, but overall, it's quite a nice recorder. As far as my recording codec, I use DivX. It can be customized fairly nicely and provides decent recordings with smaller file sizes than Cam Studio's lossless codec. One issue that I do get asked a lot by people new to Cam Studio is how do I record my voice and the game audio at the same time? It's a simple fix, but I just play the game with my computer speakers turned up loud enough so that my headset mic picks up both my voice and the game audio. For sound recordings outside of my commentary, such as voice acting or sound effects, I use WavePad Audio Editor. It's a freeware version, so it lacks a few features, but the basic meat of the program is there for me to use. Then there are the various emulators that I use. For the NES, I originally used Nestopia. However, somewhere along the line, without my changing any settings on Nestopia or Cam Studio, it started reacting weirdly to recording, making the audio skip horribly. I now use FCE Ultra, which seems to not have that problem. For my Game Boy and Game Boy Advance needs, I use Virtual Boy Advance. Furthermore, I use an offshoot program called VBA Link for times when I need to link two Game Boy Advance games. It doesn't seem to be able to work, though, with older Game Boy games. For the Super Nintendo, I use ZSNES. For Sega Genesis, I use Kega Fusion. Then there's the PS1. For this, I originally tried PSX Fin. However, as was seen in my Grenade Man Fail video, I encountered some rather nasty problems with it. For it... Okay, Dead Grenade Man, here it comes. Wait for it. Yeah. This happens every single bloody time. I then switched over to EPSXE, and have not had trouble with that. Oddly, from what I've heard, it seems that a frequent occurrence between those two programs, whichever one someone uses first seems to break down, then the second one seems to work better. I have used other emulators, such as No Cache Game Boy and Desmume for Nintendo DS, and Oswan for the WonderSwan, though I have not yet recorded anything from those. And last but certainly not least, for console gaming such as the Wii or the PS2, I have the Game Bridge donated by Victor Hernandez. It's a USB device that acts as a bridge between the PC and the console, providing a visual of the game on screen with its affiliated program, InterVideo Home Theater. From there, I just record like usual, using Cam Studio to pick up my voice and the game audio and visuals. Question 2. How do you do the animated ratings bars in your Perfect Run videos? Well, this is a bit of trickery. For this I use my art program, Photo Impact. It was a free program that came with my scanner. The tricky bit is, it's not really an animation. Actually, it's a strategic series of undo commands. I set up the icons as I need them, then clear the undo-redo history. Next, I delete all the icons, one at a time. At this point, I'm ready. When I do my usual recording process with Cam Studio, narrating the difficulty analysis, once it's time for the difficulty rating, I hold down Ctrl and Z to make the icons appear again. That's really all there is to it. Question 3. Will you be doing perfect runs of the X series? Will you be doing perfect runs of the Fortress stages? Will you be doing perfect runs of Mega Man 10? These are probably the most common questions that I get. First off, the X series. The simple answer there is no. I have no plans whatsoever to do anything with the X series. I don't really like the series. The characters are forgettable to me, I dislike X's whiny nature, and the angsty feel of, well, everything in the series. I'd have very little energy in those videos, and I just wouldn't enjoy it. The only Mega Man games I plan to work with are Classic, Battle Network, and maybe Star Force eventually. As for the Fortress stages, those are a maybe. Eventually, sometime when I myself feel like it, I might try the Fortress stages, just not right now. As for Mega Man 10, yes, that's a definite. Suffice it to say, if there's a Mega Man 11 and more, I'll most likely do those as well. While still on the subject of Mega Man Perfect runs, I do not have any plans to do perfect runs of the fan-made Mega Man 7 Famicom version. Since I've already done perfect runs of the game as Capcom intended it to be played, I'm not sure there's really a point to essentially doing the same game again just with different graphics. Question 4. Will you play Insert Game Here? Conversely, don't play Insert Game Here. While I don't mind taking suggestions on new games to try, just keep in mind, I have a lot of projects already in mind. Thus, even if I decide I'd like to do a project that was suggested to me, it'll likely be a while before I can get to it. Still, feel free to suggest things. As for the other side of the coin, please leave decisions of what I'd like to play to myself. When I get told not to play a game, it kind of annoys me. I plan to make these videos as long as it's still fun for me, and part of that is playing games that I like. So I wouldn't suggest playing a game if I didn't enjoy it on some level. Thus, if I say I'd like to play a game, I likely will do so. Question 5. Can I have your Skype name? Can you do a collaborative project with me? Can you play a game with me? These, alas, I have no control over. I live out in the middle of nowhere. It roundly sucks. One of the most problematic things about this is that I cannot get cable internet. I was in talks with Roadrunner for about 3 months before they basically gave me the brush off, trying to say, screw you, you're not worth our time and money as politely as they could. Alas, this means the only broadband we can get here is HughesNet, and they suck. Satellite broadband causes horrible lag, so I can't effectively use Skype or play online games. Since I can't do either of these things, collaborations are largely out as well. This is also caused by the ridiculously low bandwidth limits of HughesNet. I only have 300 megabytes per day to work with, and that's for my entire family. Yeah, I could rant more about how much HughesNet sucks, but that would be a full video by itself. Question 6. Can't you borrow Shagg's PSP to do Mega Man Powered Up? There seem to be those who think we all live in the same area, but alas, we do not. As much as I'd enjoy hanging out and playing games with my friends, it is not possible. While I live in Texas, Kid is in Florida, Shagg is in Georgia, and Pink is in Canada. Thus, such interactions between us simply cannot happen. Question 7. What's your next project going to be? I really need to update my site. When I do plan to put up a list of upcoming projects and various things I'm planning on working on. It's definitely on my to-do list, a major overhaul of my site to deal more with my various YouTube projects. Question 8. Can you draw my character for me? As an artist, I do sometimes get this question. The thing to keep in mind is, with all my various projects, I am kept fairly busy. If it's just something simple you have in mind, like a pencil sketch, then it's likely I can find time to do that. Trying to find time to do something in full color, though, that's a bit trickier. Whatever the case, though, I ask only one thing from anyone who asks this of me. Please be patient. I'm a busy dragon, so I can't guarantee when a project will be done. So with that, I think I've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. I think I've covered most of the main questions that seem to come up a lot, so hopefully this will help cut down on some of them. If there's something else you want to ask that isn't covered here, please feel free to PM me and we'll go from there. So with that, thank you for watching, and I shall see you again next time. Until then, fare thee well. Oh wait, one more question? Question 9. What is the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I don't know that. Ah!